Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the channel. I am super excited to bring you guys today's video. First of all, I'm just super excited by all of our new subscribers. You guys know that we are on a journey on getting this channel monetized, and y'all have been showing out. So in today's video, I'm going to be including comments that were left in previous videos because we're going to keep the discussion that is growing in our community. We're going to keep that discussion going. You guys have been showing me love on the economic collapse video. Yesterday, I got a few calls asking more questions about what it is required to buy a house. How much money do I need to buy a house? Vicky, I have some debt. What can you help me do? I even had a young woman give me a call who is actually trying to get herself off of public assistance so that she could become a homeowner. And I had to let her know, hey, you could become a homeowner even while you're on public assistance. So that's kind of like a whole separate video because there is a lot that goes into that. But I have such a robust community of viewers, and I am so grateful because I also had another caller, which is a single guy. He's like, Vicky, I have $700,000 and I want to buy a house in the DMV. I'm thinking Maryland, Prince George's County. How can you help me? Like, what? Like, guys, we have a very robust community, and so I'm just grateful for all of you guys, and I would love to give you a heart and just say thank you from the bottom of my heart that y'all are vibing with me. You like my channel. You have already subscribed to my channel. You're leaving comments so that we are engaging and teaching one another. This community is not just for me. This community is for all of us. As a realtor of the last 20 plus years here in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, it is my duty, it is my purpose to bring you guys the sort of content that you will find here on this channel, because my goal is to make sure that you guys are empowered, knowledgeable, and you know precisely what it takes to become a homeowner, to remain a homeowner, and to build generational wealth for your family. Okay, guys? I'm gonna take a tidbit and actually just, you know what, I'll do that at the end of the video. Oh, Lord, wait a second. Y'all, if y'all don't know, I'm not gonna say that I'm clairvoyant, but I have a very, very strong relationship with God. Like, I'm always praying, always fasting. One of my spiritual gifts is that I'm an intercessor. And sometimes God will, when you are an intercessor, you are just led to pray for people. You stand in the gap for people, and you don't always get to just pray for your family or pray for loved ones. When you are an intercessor, as I am, sometimes the Lord will call you to pray for people that you don't even know. And yesterday, as I was putting together data for this video, hold on, guys, let's go to the prayer request. As I was putting together data for this video, I was on X, right? And I came across a tweet from Tristan Tate. I'm going to go back there. All right, here it is. I came across a tweet from Tristan Tate. If you don't know who Tristan Tate is, he's a kickboxer, father, businessman, and he likes to call himself the comedian genius of Andrew Tate. So he's Andrew Tate's younger brother, business partner, but he calls himself a comedy genius, okay? But yesterday, Tristan put up a tweet, and I'm going to go back to it. I don't know, maybe he took it down. Let's see. I just could, guys, I'm not even like a big X person, you know. I wasn't even on X when it was Twitter, but becoming a content creator and wanting to bring you guys relative information that everyone is talking about, topics that are pertaining to the public. Unfortunately, even if I don't know how to use Twitter or X, right, the people are on X, and there's a lot of good economic conversation and real estate conversations that happen on X all the time. If you know Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, you know that they're money guys. But anyways, so I follow them both. But Tristan came up with a prayer request yesterday, and I'm going all the way back in his tweets. I should have Snapchatted because I felt led to stop what I was doing to pray for him. And then this morning, I literally woke up at 3 a.m. to pray for Tristan and his daughter. He put up a tweet yesterday asking for us to pray for his daughter because she was in the hospital. I don't see it on his page anymore, so I'm praying to God that his daughter is okay. But whenever someone asks for prayer, you have to know that that's real, right? And if you are an intercessor or you are someone who has a relationship with God, I know a lot of you guys are new to my community. We're just getting to know each other. So, hey, this is something else that you should know about me. Not only am I a realtor in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, but Christ is king in my world. I like to call myself a Christian, unassociated with all of the other political things that people have attached to our faith and our belief. But I believe in God. I believe in the Most High. I believe in a supernatural power that is guiding us all that is good, all that is light. I believe in peace and love and joy, all that Jesus Christ represents, I believe, unattached with any type of denomination, race, creed, all that other extra that people like to put on spirituality and Christianity, to be exact. I will say that I am a Christian. And so when I saw Tristan's prayer request for his daughter, I literally started praying right there, like, Heavenly Father, I pray that you cover Tristan, cover his daughter, cover the medical team if she is in the hospital, because he didn't really get into it, or maybe I just didn't stop doing my research to get into it. I saw the prayer request, I logged it in because I felt led to pray for them. And I don't see it on his X page anymore. I went back, I'm on like 2 days ago, so I don't know. It could have just been a spiritual thing where I saw that he made a prayer request for his daughter. And, Tristan and Andrew get a lot of hate. So I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe was going through something, reached out to his audience, and then y'all already know how X and the trolls on social media like to do. It's like oh no, it's still here. It's from 23 hours ago. He did not delete it. It says, prayer request, daughter hospitalized, could be serious. She will be in there for a few days. So no, he did not delete it. Praise God. And it is a real prayer request from Tristan Tate on X. Like I said, I'm an intercessor. As an intercessor, we pray for people. We don't care about nothing else. When the Lord tells us to pray, fast, whatever, those of us that have this calling, we pray, we fast, we will do whatever the Lord tells us to do. And this is what God has instructed me to do on my video today, to put this prayer request out for Tristan and his daughter, and also the medical team that is working with her and her mother and all her family that she pulls through. Okay. He didn't share a picture. He didn't go into detail, but God doesn't need any of that. Guys, when someone asks for prayer, we pray for them. When a parent is going through something as a community, there's that African adage that says it takes a village to raise a child. I also believe that parents need a village also. So I'm a sucker for helping anybody in need, especially a mama or a papa in need, and definitely for our babies. So Tristan, we lift your daughter up in prayer. God says everything is okay. She is doing good. I can't wait for you to tell us that she is home, happy, and thriving. All right. Shout out to you, and shout out to your brother, Andrew. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not going to go any more into that. The Lord says that is that. So let's get right into today's video, guys. Okay. Today, I have a lot to talk to you guys about. There's a lot going on. Like I was saying before, our little interlude for a prayer request. And you know what? If you have a prayer request and you really need someone to pray for you, y'all are free to leave that in the comments below. We are a community. This is a community of homeowners, future homeowners, people that want to build their wealth, people that just like good vibe, positive energy, motivation, and you're like, you know what? I want Vicky to pray for me. I want the Vicky Koger at Home with Vicky fam bam to pray for me. Put your prayer request in the comments below. You know what I mean? Like, hey, the more people of good spirit, of the right mind that you have praying for you, the more likely it is that you are going to get the resolve that the Lord has for you. Or sometimes you just need that type of spiritual hug and spiritual connection. And lucky for you, you've came on to the right channel, and we could do that here for you. But guys, now back to the juicy part, because I know some of y'all like, girl, what are you talking about, girl? I'm here for the real estate news. So let's get into it, guys. Also, right before we get into real estate news, we got to stay on the current events. We're still on current events, okay? And so y'all already know Doge is happening. I made a video on Monday specifically debunking a X post that went out that was claiming that the DC market is on fire. It's crashing down. Houses are going for sale because, of course, all we've been seeing all weekend long and all week long are the people that have been getting laid off. They missed the mark. There is no longer any buyouts that are being offered as of the recording of this video. Today is February 19th, 2025. Last I checked, which was yesterday, buyouts are over, right? So if you did not accept the buyout, there isn't a buyout opportunity as far as I heard. I also heard on the news and from various other sources that anyone who is on probationary period in the federal government, if you have not already been laid off, you may very well be laid off, guys. It's no good news. It's never good news when people are losing their jobs. It's never anything to celebrate. I know I even seen some of the comments in some of my other videos like, hey, the government has to cut back. We have to save money. And that's what business does and yada, yada. But guys, there are real live people. Nobody is negating the business aspect of what's happening, right? We're all clear that what Elon and President Trump are trying to do is get more resources and economics for the American people. Trump legitimately told us he was going to clear the swamps, right? We didn't know what that meant. We only had a perception of what that meant, right? He told us that he was going to make America great again. Again, that is a very broad statement that was thrown around the entire campaign. And it felt good, right? Because that's what marketing and sales is about. You make things feel good. You make people want to buy with you, spend their money with you. In President Trump's case, he had to motivate us and inspire us to vote for him. But now, now it's time to put those words into action, right? It doesn't feel pretty. It doesn't feel nice. And I want y'all to know that here on my channel, I will never be rejoicing in people losing their jobs and people having hard times. I mean, I saw a TikTok video of a farmer begging. This is farmers in Missouri. They're from the USDA freeze that happened earlier, or like mid last week, when Elon went into USAID and like shut it down, freezed all funding. Well, that affected a lot of farmers in our country, right? A lot of farmers who have contracts with the government. They already started doing work because they thought that the funding was going to be coming through before all of this stuff happened. Well, those guys have literally been left with the bill in their hand, where they have to put up costs and expenses, money that they really don't have, money to help keep their farm going. Our farmers are suffering. And guys, that is not okay. That is not okay. So I need us as Americans to stop going back and forth at each other, Republicans, Democrats, blacks, whites, this, that, and the third. We need to stop, and we need to look at each other as what we are, which are all human beings living here in this realm collectively together. It's not okay that this is going on. And, I'm quite sure that now that this is starting to be talked about and it's becoming viral, the farmers are fighting to save their farms. They're fighting for their resources. We need to be sending aids to the people that are growing our food, growing our crops, right? I want to be able to eat fresh produce when I go to the grocery store. Also, President Trump, you did tell us that you were going to lower egg prices. What's going on? What's happening? Because, sir, egg prices, grocery prices have not gone down yet. So if y'all can get the memo to Elon and them, run us our lower grocery bills like you promised. Okay? Anyways, but I'm gonna be serious though. President Trump and Elon are doing their thing in the federal government, cutting down jobs, freezing up funding. It's affecting a lot of people. We're all watching and on edge. But I did come across this story about the Tax Cuts and Job Act. The abbreviation is TCJA. Look it up when you get off the video. Do your research on it. This was enacted in December of 2017 during President Trump's first term. He introduced significant changes to the U.S. tax code. Key provisions included reducing corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%, okay? Lowering individual tax rates, increasing the standard deduction, and enhancing the child tax credit. Notably, while the corporate tax rate reduction was made permanent, many individual tax benefits are set to expire at the end of 2025. So what I gathered from this, guys, remember, look up TCJA, okay? The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. What I gathered from this is that there are some tax cuts and tax reductions that will be ending in 2025. So President Trump and Elon yesterday, they were, representing the bills to be able to reinstate a lot of these tax cuts and tax breaks so that it does not affect 2026 and beyond, okay? This is very important as the expiration date approaches. There is ongoing debate about the future of these tax provisions. Republican lawmakers are advocating for permanent extensions of the individual tax cuts, arguing that maintaining the current tax structure will not significantly impact federal revenues since these cuts are already in place. So that's good to know, because a lot of people are spinning all of the tax cuts that the Trump administration has been presenting, and they're trying to say that, oh, well, how is this going to affect public resources if we cut all these taxes? Where are we going to have money for our streets and our schools? But guys, these are already in place. They're just asking for an extension, okay? The cuts are already here. You already had an increase in tax and the child tax credit. I can tell y'all very much that that's true. I have 4 children, and me and my husband see our child tax credit on our taxes every year. Okay. So, however, independent, where did I leave off, guys? Republican lawmakers are advocating for the permanent extension of the individual tax cuts, arguing that maintaining the current tax structure will not significantly impact federal revenues since these cuts are already in place. However, independent analysis estimates that making these cuts permanent could add approximately $4.8 trillion to the national debt over the next decade. So that's what I said. There are some economists that are saying that these tax cuts will add money to our national debt. But again, Trump and Elon and everyone else that Trump has on his cabinet, but pretty much Trump and Elon, who are the top business guys of this presidency, they are businessmen. And they are running America right now as a corporation. So I'm under the assumption that if they are wanting to put in these tax cuts, they're going to allocate for the money someplace else. That's where the tariffs come in, because right now it feels like Americans have been paying higher taxes to fund our government, but we're still in a national debt, right, in the trillions. So not going to go deep into that, but just know that this is all circling back into how to buy a house in today's market. I got to bring y'all this information because a lot of us don't dig deep. We don't dive deep. You just go off of what you're being fed on the news and in media. And a lot of the media, as I told you guys on Monday, is all lies, is made up. It's sensationalized for clicks and views because lies are more entertaining than the truth. But if you're watching me, I'm a realtor in DC, Maryland, and Virginia for the last 20 years. The information that I bring you guys is for education and entertainment purposes, but I am bringing you guys information and data that you can then go back and research and verify all that I'm saying so that then you can apply it to yourself. Because here's the thing. If we're going to be getting all these tax cuts, that means that there is going to be more money that you get to take home on your paycheck. Trump is talking about cutting the overpay taxes. If you work in a service industry, Trump is cutting tips on taxes on tips. They're keeping the child tax credit where it is, or even adding more to that. If you are a corporation, cutting taxes for corporations. You know, we don't want our taxes to go back to 35%. I would love for my business tax to stay at 21%, guys. This is money that will still be in our pockets. And also this TCJA is also going to cut the taxes on the interest that you pay on these high car loans. I could do a whole nother video on the exuberant amount of money that people are paying for car loans. The tax cuts that the Trump administration is talking about will be cutting taxes on car loans. You will not be taxed on the high interest that you're paying for your car loan. That's super mega. Super mega. Like I said, I am in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Maryland and Virginia have some very high homeowners tax, right? These tax cuts will be cutting taxes for us in home ownership. So this is relative. I need y'all to follow, okay? In addition to discussion about extending existing tax cuts, recent policy actions have introduced new fiscal measures. For instance, President Trump issued an executive order imposing a 25% tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada and a 10% tariff on imports from China. These tariffs are intended to protect domestic industries, but have sparked debates about potential economic repercussions, including increased consumer prices and strained international relations. Like I said, guys, if they're going to cut costs for Americans, we do need that money to come from someplace else. Trump has chosen tariffs to bring in that money. We're not going to debate that here. But the TCJA, remember to look that up, TCJA also includes provisions aimed at supporting families. And I just told you guys about this. This is why this is important. Listen up. My job is to show you that even though we are going through an economic chaos right now, people are calling it an economic collapse, an economic downturn, economic whatever, crises. Even though we are going through that, there is still gold in the air, baby. There is still money all around us. My job is to keep you focused on that. My job is to make sure that you don't get tricked out the bag. My job is to make sure that you don't get caught out here renting from corporate America for the rest of your lives and never leaving your children any real tangible asset like owning a home free and clear with no taxes. Well, you're going to have taxes, but no mortgage. I want to show you guys, those of you who already have a mortgage, those of you who precisely might be in a situation where you are losing your job or you already lost your job. I'm letting you know that you don't have to lose your house. Go to the money. Go where the money resides, because it's out here. Don't get caught up in the politics of politics. You understand me? We can't do nothing right now while we are under the president of the presidency of Trump America. We are here for the next 4 years. Get to the bag. Follow the money. You got it? Good. Let's get back into it, okay? As legislative discussion continues, the potential extension of the TCJA individual tax provision remains on a focal point with significant implications for taxpayers and the broader economy. All right. The TCJA, I did not read this to you guys, which is very important. I have it here in my notes. Included provisions aimed at supporting families, such as increase in the child tax credit. Despite the measures concerning about the affordability of childcare persisting, advocacy groups are urging the administration to further enhance tax credits and other support mechanisms to alleviate the financial burdens on family. Y'all, they are working for our greater good, I feel, right? Let me know in the comments below how you think all of these tax cuts is this gonna be good for us? Or do you think, like, what's the catch? If he's cutting all these taxes, taking away the payroll tax, taking away overtime pay tax, taking away taxes on the interest that I pay on my already too high car loan, what's the catch? Why am I not paying taxes? Let me know if that's how you feel. Or if you're like, Vicky, I love this. Give me all my money. Show me my money. Tell me in the comments below. You know what I mean? Because my perception is that we are going to have more money, right? And if we are going to have more money in our bank, in our checks, if we're bringing home more money every month, or when we file our taxes as business owners, instead of me having to pay 35% of what I earned all year, I only got to pay 21%. That means that I have more money in my business to continue running my business, right? And as a W-2 employee, that means that you're going to have more money that you're bringing home every month to cover your monthly bills, right? To be able to pay down the principal on your mortgage. That's a topic that we have been discussing here in the community, how to become mortgage free. Well, if you're going to get more money on your taxes, that's more money that you are able to put on the principal of the mortgage that you have so that you can pay down that mortgage, cutting thousands of dollars. I spoke with a gentleman the other day who watched my video on how to become mortgage free, right? And he said, Vicky, help me understand, what do you mean by this, right? If you want a breakdown, my contact is always going to be in my description of the video. You can email me, you can text me, I will send you the notes, right? So I said, okay, let's go through the mortgage calculator on paying off your mortgage, which I got from a channel called, let me get y'all the name of the channel, because I don't even know how to like hyperlink things in my description just yet. But when I learn how to do that, I will have it there. For now, if you reach out to me, I can send you that attachment. But the mortgage calculator, mortgage payoff calculator is from marriagekidsandmoney.com. Marriagekidsandmoney.com. That is a mortgage payoff calculator for those of you that are trying to become mortgage free. Okay. Then this was in also Missouri. Okay. The family the video that I saw was also in Missouri. They paid off their mortgage in 2 years. They had a mortgage of $130,000. They paid it off in 2 years. The gentleman that I spoke to, I think it was on Monday, he told me his mortgage, he has $230,000 left on his mortgage. Right. And I said, all right, we pulled out the mortgage free payoff calculator. And he said that he could make an extra $1,000 a month payment on his mortgage every month. Well, when we put that in with his interest rate, I think he had an interest rate of like 3.7%, bought his house well before 2025, you know, back in 2019 when Trump was president. Just gonna add that there, y'all. He bought his house and I think he was able to secure a 3.7 interest rate. It will take him, if he starts next month, it will take him 8 years to pay off his mortgage, and he will be saving $144,000 in interest that he will not be paying. All right. So if that doesn't motivate you to put $144,000 and in the next 6 to 8 years, you can become financially free, because he told me he had $1,000 as of today. We did some math. We did some calculation. He said he had an extra $1,000 to put on his mortgage every month. Today, on top of the regular payment, he could pay $1,000 on the principal today. Now, what happens when all of these tax cuts take into place, right? That means that he's going to have more take-home pay. That means that even when he files his taxes, him and his wife will have a higher tax return, because if in fact the tax credit is increased, that's going to bring us more money home, right? So these are the type of things that I am trying to bring to you guys so that you can understand that everything that's happening in the political climate today does affect us. And for the families that are losing their job, I'm going to continue to make videos to inspire you guys to look for new work, start a new business. If you were lucky enough to take the buyout, don't just sit around paying your bills without making financial moves. What type of business can you create? Or maybe you can take the money and get a new car and hustle your way on DoorDash or Instacart, along with working a job, right? Because maybe you haven't found a job with the same income you were making in the federal government. But I'm going to submit for your consideration that you all do not just sit home waiting for another six-figure opportunity if it hasn't arisen, right? Because I have heard people that have been because, you know, tech jobs have already been cut. Amazon been cutting people, Walmart been cutting people, Meta been cutting people. It's a lot of people losing their job. There's a lot of reorganizations and corporations that is happening right now. It's not just the federal government. I don't want y'all to sit home with the woe is me, okay? I need y'all to get into action, to get into motion. There is money all around us. Make that money work for you. Don't let the money make you. If you know where that came from, put it in the comments below. But let's get into this, okay? Let's get into the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, TCJA, and how does this affect home ownership? It had a significant impact on home ownership, particularly through changes in mortgage interest deduction. That's important. Property tax deduction, also important. And capital gains exclusion. That's all where this act is going to help us save money, okay? And let me let you know how this affects home ownership, okay? Mortgage interest deduction cap. Before the TCJA, homeowners could deduct mortgage interest on loans up to $1 million. The TCJA lowered this cap to $750,000 for new loans issued after December 15th in 2017. Okay, so before 2017, you could deduct mortgage interest on your loans up to $1 million. As of today, since 2017, it's only $750,000. So that's what they are looking at reallocating, if they should raise the cap back up to $1 million, or even just raise it more than $750,000. I did not see the actual amount just yet. So that's why I tell y'all to go research this. This mainly affects buyers in high cost housing market, limiting how much interest they can deduct. We are in a high cost housing market here in the DMV. California is in a high cost housing market. Some parts of New York, some parts of Texas, not Texas, but some part of Florida like Miami, very high cost to purchase homes. This is going to affect you. All right. Property tax deduction limit. This is called the SALT cap. All right. The TCJA capped state and local tax deduction, which is called the SALT tax deduction, at $10,000. Previously, homeowners could deduct their full property tax amount, but now, so before we were deducting the full tax amount, but now, remember, this is since 2017. So if you bought your house 2017, you have only been able to deduct $10,000. That's the cap. So it's not the full amount. It's only up to $10,000. And this is high tax states like California, New York, New Jersey, and Maryland are mostly impacted by this. This made home ownership less attractive for those who relied on these deductions, okay? So this is why I said pay attention to this, because if they do in fact raise these caps and raise these tax deductions on property taxes, if you live in a state where Maryland is one of the states that's included here, California, New Jersey, and New York. I live in Maryland, so I can only imagine if we can get more money back on our taxes, that's going to offset the increase in taxes that we have all seen. I know y'all taxes haven't been increasing in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, because a lot of my clients have been calling me like, Vicky, I just had to appeal the tax assessment on my house because they're trying to raise my taxes, and everybody's case is different, right? So if we can get a deduction on that and raise that cap from $10,000 to the full, to raise it to the full property tax amount, that's going to bring you more money, and it's going to make home ownership more attractive to people that maybe stay away from home ownership because they are afraid of paying property tax. There are some people like that literally, they miss the whole picture of building equity and focus on the cost of property tax and like HOAs and insurance, homeowners insurance, all of these things. But that's a whole nother video, right? As a result, fewer people itemize deductions, meaning fewer homeowners benefit from mortgage interest and property tax deductions. This reduced the tax incentive of home ownership compared to renting. That's what I just explained to you guys. So all of this deduction discussion that's going on is going to make home ownership more attractive. But I've already been telling y'all that here on the channel. I'm just bringing y'all the data. I'm just bringing you guys the data. If you someone who has been stuck in a perpetual rat race of renting because you think that you're saving money, may not be the case anymore. I already told y'all in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, it's not the case, because beyond the tax benefits, in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, rent has just gone up astronomically. Most people will not be able to sell their home and find a like or comparable property at a lower cost. It's going to be more than their mortgage, okay? Capital gains exclusion, unchanged. So that's not going to change. One positive, the law kept the capital gains exclusion for primary residence sales. Homeowners can exclude up to $250,000 if they're single, $500,000 for married couples in capital gains when selling a home, as long as they lived in the house for 2 of the last 5 years. So it has to be your primary residence for at least 2 of the last 5 years, up to $250,000 if you're single, and then up to $500,000 if you are married. So that means any profit that you make when you sell your house will be excluded from that capital gains tax. Do your own research on what capital gains tax, but this is a positive. Those numbers are remaining the same, okay? Impact on the housing market. Inexpensive housing market, the mortgage interest cap and SALT deduction limit made home ownership more costly. All right. The higher the taxes, duh, I just told y'all, people in Maryland and other states of like have been complaining because in your mortgage, in your monthly mortgage payment, you are paying your taxes as well. If taxes increase at the end of the year, you're going to get a separate bill from any money that you may still owe in taxes because your taxes were preset the year before. So 2025 taxes have gone up. If they weren't covered in your payments at the end of the year, you'll have to make that difference, okay? These changes may have slowed home price growth in high cost states, not our states. Our prices have been going up. The demand for housing keeps our prices going up. Some investors benefited because the law preserved tax advantage for rental properties, increasing the demand for investment properties. True. We have a demand for properties, investment, residential, whatever in our area. So what's next? The individual tax cuts, including the SALT cap and mortgage interest changes, expires in 2025 unless this is extended by Congress. This is what President Trump is proposing. This is one of the many things that they are debating right now. If they expired, the old deductions could return to making home ownership more tax advantaged again. All right? So this is crucial, especially in especially for high income buyers or those in expensive states, on whether it is smart to buy now or wait for potential tax policy change. I told y'all I would not tell y'all to wait. I have a feeling that we are going to continue to be in a market, in a real estate market where it's an anomaly. It's never been seen. Everything that has been happening in real estate has literally never been seen. Like normally, economically, there is a shift every 10 to 15 years. We have been riding the wave of high home prices since 2020, okay? You would think that the whole world being shut down would have lowered the cost of housing. No, it did not. You would have thought that it would have lowered the cost of cars. No, it did not. More people went out and bought new vehicles and were applying for home loans than ever before. So I don't want to make a prediction on if you should wait or not on buying a house. That's a personal question. I would say that if you have a pre-approval right now and you have money to put down, or you qualify for a VA loan or a USDA loan or any other loan where you don't have to put any money down, I would say to buy your house now, because we are, especially if you're in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, we are in a market where we have more buyers than we do sellers. So as long as there are more buyers than homes, we're going to always have high home sales, high home values, okay? So don't get tricked out your bag. I'm going to end the video today with 5 tips for buying a home in today's economy, okay? Improve your credit and reduce your debt. We've been talking about that on this channel. Plenty of videos to help you with that. Higher mortgage rates mean your credit score matters more than ever. Aim for a 740 plus, okay? But you could get qualified with a 620. I would never want you to buy a house at a 580 credit score, because especially with interest rates already at 7% with someone with good credit, buying a house at 580 credit score could be horrible. So if you can get your credit score up to 620, up to 640, it's not the best, but it gets you in the door, okay? But if you are someone that's like, okay, Vicky, my credit score ain't too far from 700. I think I could get it up to 740. If you could get it up to 740, you're going to be at the best credit rating. For you unicorn, high financial achievers who have 800 plus credit scores, it don't really make a difference. You're still getting the same thing as people with the 740. Pay down debt, okay? We talked about that on the video earlier this week. You want to lower your debt to income ratio. When lenders are looking to are looking at your file to give you a pre-approval, they want you to be under 43%. So try to get your debt to income, and that's the money that you make versus the money that you owe, to be the money that you owe 43% less than the money that you take home every month. If you can get it lower than 43%, you're cooking with grease, all right? Number 2, get your pre-approval. Not just get a pre-approval, but get approved. There are some lenders that can give you an instant approval if you have a very good credit profile, right? And if you can get one of those instant approvals, you will be able to stand out amongst the people who only have a pre-approval. Their lender hasn't looked at their financial documents yet, but they just filled out some question. That is not a solid approval when you are trying to buy a house in a competitive market. When you are trying to buy a house in a competitive market, you want to be pre-approved, not pre-qualified, okay? So remember that. It locks in your rate for a limited time and shows sellers that you are ready to go. I work with lenders that can close pre-approved people in 21 days or less, okay? It used to be 30 days or less, but because we have been in such a competitive market, they will get your loan closed in 21 days or less. That's what sellers want to see when you are in a competitive market, all right? Explore down payment assistance programs and VA loans. I've talked about that already in the video. Basically, VA loans are available for veterans and their families. All you have to do is been working with the military, and you will qualify for a VA loan. First-time buyers, check for grants, FHA loans, or local home buyer programs. If you need information about that, send me an email. I can give you some information on local home buyer programs if you are in DC, Maryland, or Virginia. If you are anywhere else in the country, reach out to some lenders, reach out to some realtors that you know, like, and trust that specialize with your area. I live in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. That's what I know. All right. Veterans and active duty, take advantage of the VA loan zero down payment benefit. I have said that so many times because I know that I have a lot of veterans and active duty members that watch my video. Y'all should not be buying a house with nothing else but that VA loan. If you don't own a property, if you have not maxed out your VA loan benefits, and guys, let me let you know, especially in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, the amount that you are given is based off of your area. And the last time I checked, let me ask, I don't want to mess up my notes. But there are limits, right? So let's just say, for example, if you are buying a house in an area where you get up to $750,000, but you're not making an income to pay a mortgage of $750,000. You can buy a house right now where you are. You can, let's say, buy a house for $300,000 because that's the mortgage that you can afford right now. And then let's just say in 2 years, taxes come down, home prices come down, interest rates come down, and you're like, you know what? I think I'm ready to buy an investment property. Well, guess what? You can use the VA loan to buy another property at $450,000 because you still have $450,000 in your VA loan if you're going to buy it in the same area. Whatever area you take that loan to, they're going to deduct the value of your primary residence, and whatever is remaining is what you can use to buy an investment property. Don't ever let nobody tell you that America ain't looking out for their veterans when it comes to home ownership, because the VA loan is the best loan on the market, baby. You can have in certain areas literally up to 3 properties if you do it correctly. I have to help veterans and active duty members do this. You could buy 3 properties, live in one, and have 2 others that are investment properties. Or if you really want to do your thing, you can have 3 rental properties. All right. This ain't the video, but if you want me to do a video on that, let me know in the comments below or send me a message about it. All right. Number 4, be flexible with location and features. With high interest rate, high cost, you're going to have to be flexible, okay? Consider emerging neighborhoods or slightly smaller homes to stay within your budget. I'm going to create a whole video about that, guys, but a lot of times people make fun of the gentrifiers, you know, and they're like, oh, the hood is getting gentrified. Oh, my area is being gentrified. In reality, the gentrifiers are taking advantage of lower cost properties in areas that are emerging, areas that are up and coming. It's not their fault that you don't know. It's not their fault that you don't have your finances in order. The fact that you are watching this video, I'm sorry, I have to revoke your victim card. I am now telling you to get your finances in order, and perhaps you can buy up the block on where you live, okay? You don't have to be worried about what the gentrifier is doing if you have your pre-approval. Got it? Good. Okay? Now, look for properties with ADU, accessory dwelling units, for potential income, rental income. This is big in Maryland. It's big in DC. It's big in Northern Virginia. You are able to turn your basement into a rental, or you can add like a shed or a tiny home in your background, and in your backyard. It has to have its own entrance and its own bathroom and its own kitchen. It can't be where like someone, you rent a shed and there is no running water and they have to come into your property. No, it can't be like that. It has to be literally a tiny home with its own bathroom, its own kitchen, and what else? Its own bathroom, its own kitchen, and its own entrance to be classified as an ADU, accessory dwelling units. That's why you see a lot of people pushing for buying homesteads or pushing for buying properties that have land space, so that they can actually put some rental unit and get some rental income. Also, like I told you, I made a video all about tenancy. There are a lot of families right now that are doing generational, that are living in multi-generational homes. So if you have adult children, or you're taking care of your parents, or you have family that is living with you, well, you could have an ADU and you could get tax benefits for having a rental income, okay? So let me see. Be smart. Be smart. High mortgage rates can mean less competition. Use this to negotiate. Get seller's concession, closing calls, rate buy downs, or home repairs, okay? We in the DMV are still in a very competitive market. You are not negotiating all these things, but I can negotiate definitely a home inspection, definitely some home repairs if they are required by the lender. Most sellers are not able to, they're not able to counter a seller required repair if it's required by the mortgage company, okay? They can negotiate that before you go into contract with them, right? But in most cases, the buyer's agent and the seller's agent, there are going to be some things. I literally just had this happen to me, and the seller had no problem covering the minor repairs that the lender had requested. But in a very competitive market, I would not recommend you put all this stuff in your contract, because your contract ain't gonna be accepted. Why would a seller accept your contract with 1,000 contingencies when they're getting 4 or 5 plus offers that, you know, may not have any contingencies, right? So always think about that. Confide in your realtor, and we will tell you the best strategy to use. Don't stretch your budget. I told y'all, and this is a tip in the notes, don't stretch your budget. Aim for a mortgage payment that is 25 to 30% of your monthly income. I told y'all on the video, go back and watch that video, what it takes to buy a house that costs $800,000. I told y'all that the mortgage company is going to approve you at a debt to income of 43%. But in reality, most people can comfortably afford a mortgage that is 25 to 30% of their take-home pay, because the mortgage company does not factor in your monthly living expenses like going out to eat, taking vacations, holidays with your families. If you have a child in university, like I do, that you got to send money to because they're not working, they're just focused on university. Whatever the case may be, there are a lot of monthly costs that your mortgage company is not taking into account. So you don't want to be house poor. And one way to protect yourself from being house poor is to purchase a house with a mortgage that is 25 to 30% below your monthly income. All right. Here is the bonus tip before we close out, guys. If rates drop in the future, you can always refinance your home, but buying your house now locks in your home price before values rise again. Guys, that is the best way to end this video. You buy your house today, we're already in a competitive situation. Home prices are already high. It's actually pretty nerve-wracking to think that they can go any higher. But again, if we continue to have a demand in home ownership and in not enough inventory, right? Demand is going to stay where it's at. But if interest rates lower, that means that all of those people that have been in the golden handcuffs, that's what it's called, the golden handcuff effect, everyone who bought their house 2020 to now with the low interest rates, especially the people with the 2 and 3% interest rates, those folks don't ever want to let go of those houses, right? But if interest rates come down, some of them will be inclined to sell, which not only it's going to make mortgages more affordable for those of you that are wanting to keep your house, but it's going to be an influx of buyers, because now they're going to be like, oh, I can afford it. Interest rates are lower. But that's only going to make the prices go back up. If you've bought a house in a competitive market, you already know there will be people that got cash on hand that are willing to pay. I've seen people pay up to $50,000, $60,000 more than the asking price to win a contract on a house, okay? So I keep telling y'all, don't get tricked out the bag. Act accordingly. Take this data, apply it to your life, apply it to your finances, and make an educated decision. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, follow. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. Thank you so much for your comments. I want to shout out a few of my people. Let me go. I got comments right now. I got comments that are just like coming in. YouTube Studio, they it alerts you, right? It alerts you when you have comments that are coming in. Guys, we are up 150 on subscribers. Shout out to all the new subscribers. Welcome to the fam. And thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for subscribing to this channel. But I want to make sure, how do we do this here, YouTube? All right. Yeah. So we were just talking about that video. What salary do you need to buy at 800K? I got a video from Sundance X Rendezvous. I'm so sorry, beautiful, if I'm mispronouncing your name, but thank you so much for leaving a comment on the video. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it, and I'm responding to you live right here, right now, like that, like so. Thank you, Candace Winfield. This video is very informative. I appreciate it. Well, I am so super happy that you enjoyed it, beautiful. And I'm so glad that it was helpful. Thank you for joining the fam. and I just responded to you here live on video. And at mrod87 says 3% interest, 10% down, mortgage is going to be $4,000 to $4,200. Just guessing. See, girl, you're good with math. Thank you for being on your toes. Thank you for being on your toes. Okay, guys, I love y'all. Y'all are so smart. Like, this is I feel absolutely blessed that I am growing this community, growing this platform, and I am allowed to share, and that we are allowed to collectively come together and have this discussion about finances, because our people perish for lack of knowledge. And in today's world, we don't have the liberty to continue playing the victim card. I have revoked the victim card from anyone that comes across my channel. We are captains of our ship. We are educated, informed buyers, and together, collectively, we are going to empower one another to build generational wealth. And if you don't have children, or you don't plan on having children, that's okay. You are building wealth for yourself, okay? You are building wealth for your future self. Don't take your youth for granted. This is not a time to just party and wild out and go all over the world and flex for the gram. You buy a property today, you apply the strategies that I am sharing for you to become mortgage free in your later years, right? A lot of people like to fearmonger people who don't have children and say, oh, you're never going to have anyone to take care of you. You're going to be living in a what do you call those? A nursing home by yourself. Well, that's not necessarily true, right? If you own a home and you have that home paid off, when you become 70, 80 years old and maybe you can't work anymore, you could always sell your house and set yourself up in a very nice, fancy, smancy nursing home or retirement community, and you'll have money to take care of yourself, okay? Don't play victim at any age. Don't play victim at any status. Married, single, with children, without children, single mama, single daddy, whatever. Okay? You are empowered. None of those things are real. None of those things matters when it comes to your financial success. If you are getting up and going to work every morning, this channel is here to make sure that you are a good stewardess over your finances and that you set yourself up for success. I have talked so much on today's video, but I just want to thank y'all for joining me. Until we meet again, peace. Bye-bye. See y'all later. See y'all later.